Hello! So today we're doing something a little bit different. So I'm going to first of all press A to select all and X to delete. And I'm just going to click on delete. And on the top one up here on render properties, I'm going to switch it from Eevee to cycles. Next up, I'm going to go to the side view with pressing 3 on my numpad. You can also press the button to the left of 1, which is the tilde key, and go to left or right. I'm going to go to right. And then I'm going to press Shift A to add. And I'm going to mesh, plane. And then I'm going to press, with it already highlighted, I'm going to press Tab, rotate it 90 degrees. So it's facing directly down this front line. And if I press 1 to go to front view, I'll be looking at it straight on. Now I'm going to press, while looking at it straight on, I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to go add mesh, and I'm going to go add camera. Then I'm going to press 0 on the numpad to go into camera view. You can also press, I believe it's Z, no, not Z, the button to the left of tilde again, and view camera. Brilliant. Then I'm going to press Shift and then the button to the left of 1, so the tilde key that we used to go onto view camera just a second ago. So I'm going to go Shift that, and I'm just going to press S to bring it back, and then I'm going to click. Now I'm going to click up on this one over here and change the resolution to 1920. And I'm going to press on the object properties and change from perspective to orthographic. That will change some things. There we go. Now I'm going to click with right click or left click depending on your settings. So if right click doesn't highlight your object, then press left click instead. I'm going to press Tab, and I'm going to press S to scale it, and I'm just going to scale it up to be just bigger than my camera. Now if I go into render mode, it should just be my box in there. Okay, perfect. Next up, I'm going to make sure I am on material mode, making sure my box is selected, and I'm going to go over to shading. In the shading screen, I won't automatically be in camera view, so I'm going to switch to camera view. I'm going to hit new, and now I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm going to add in a Musgrave texture, and I'm going to plug that into emission, and we get this. Not particularly attractive yet, but I'm going to increase the detail, alter the dimensions. As you can see, you can go quite crazy with this, but for now I want it to be quite solid. I don't really want too much alteration. So like that, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a color ramp, like so. Now I'm going to add an extra, bring this one all the way up, add another one in, and bring this one all the way down. We'll need to make multiple alterations, but I'm going to change this one. What color do we want it? Shall I go for a sort of a light greenish color? I'm going to pull these together until I get sort of the shapes I want. Go, and then here, maybe a darker greener color. I can obviously always change these. Oh, not that much, obviously. You can obviously change these colors to anything you want. So if I wanted to go for maybe a dark pink, and I do want this black line to be a little bit more solid. Brilliant. Maybe I can go over here and I can go to a brightish, or not brightish pink. Well, actually, I could go for a very bright pink. There we go. You can adjust the scale as much as you like, and you can watch it as it actually will change in real time. Yeah, but let's say we want slightly more complicated. I can bring this up, and I can go for mix. So I'm just pressing to get that up and pressing Shift A. Search, mix RGB, and I'm going to drop that on the line, and you'll see the line light up white as I highlight over it. And it'll instantly like so. Maybe I'll just duplicate both of these and throw it into there. Actually, I now need to change the second one, and as you can see, we now have different stuff on, which means I could change the colours slightly. Let's go for maybe a blue. And on this one, I'm going to go for a strong blue. And if I want to change over here, I can just go add, or I can go multiply. You can try a couple of different things out. Screen to get the sort of looks that you want. Overlays are inherently somewhat random, so you can change and add this as much as you like. Make it as different, as weird, or anything you want. Color, saturation. Another thing you could do if you wanted to would be to pull this over and put it into the factor. And then put this on here and put it to multiply, and I'm gonna have to alter it, expect to get the solid colors that we want. I probably want this one bigger. And I'm gonna want to ramp ahead too. Other way. And scale it to where I feel works best. I don't like these colors, so I'm going to make some changes to them. And as you can see, it's only changing parts of stuff because we have it set up to exactly do that. Because we're multiplying it, but only where this texture appears. So only these bits in white are going to get multiplied. You could obviously change that even more if you wanted to. I could go have a gradient texture, and instead of that in there, I put a gradient texture in here. And I will want the color ramp again. If I disconnect this one, I can repurpose this color ramp. And I have control over how far I want it to go. See how that works? You can change it to quadratic. I think there is also one for diagonal, yeah. So these are all functioning pretty similarly at the moment, but make sure it's unwrapped. Easing, so it should be slower. But most of these seem to be working with fairly similar. Spherical might be a more interesting one. Yeah, so let's do this. Sorry about that. And obviously I can change these colors as much as I like. And this one over here, maybe I make the bottom right bit a bit warmer. This one doesn't do too much, but oh, definitely don't want that. And whiter colors will lighten here, so because it's on multiply, so if I were to change this and go to white, it will actually just lighten the area. Or maybe it won't. And oh, it's because the other bit's already white. So fair enough. But the more you change the colors here, the more difference and variance that you'll get. And you can do this an infinite number of times to add more things in. I can now go again to mix RGB. That now count as top color. I'll go texture. Maybe I'll go for a maybe I'll go for a checker texture. Which does that. And checker texture already has two colors on it, so I can actually go maybe to a blue and to pink, and you get something else. Or even a green, yellow, and so I could even, if I wanted to, just go for a black and a white and change it to multiply, so you get that sort of effect. Because that's all we're really doing here, is just finding different ways mixing things together until you get a look that you want, and then I can go again and then go mix RGB, texture. Let's go for a Verona. Put the color into the color, and you get this effect. Scale it, and again I'm probably going to go for a ramp, because you can see how this will work already. Again, I'm going to go to multiply, and let's say I want it to be a bit harder so that the things all sort of have solid edges. And then again, I can change the colors. I'm not sure about this checkerboard texture, but maybe if I scale it to something a little bit more, so it's like that, maybe, just to give that slight divide, or even like that, so we've got those different quadrants. And so let's add another one in, go mix RGB, and we'll go for alright, this time we'll go for a hue saturation, which we'll put at the end, but we'll add a texture, maybe a wave texture. Wave textures can look good. Obviously we don't want that, but you can scale it, distort it so it's not straight, detail it, detail scale it, increase the roughness and decrease the roughness. I'm going to go for about that, and phase the offset, which won't make a difference for us, but you can also change it to rings if you wanted to, and change the things, and spherical even, so you get more saw and round. You got saw and triangle. Saw works really good for a normal map, so you could actually, if you wanted to, take this and plug it into a normal. You want a vector, bump map, sorry. It's not going to look particularly good on a plane like this because it's orthographic. Okay, don't do that. Sorry. And again, this time I might go to add, but we do need a ramp for it. I'm going to bring the blacks up because I want the stuff below to show through, and then I want this to just have its own color. Maybe something a little bit different than the other colors. So it's like water washing over it. I'm still not sure about this checkerboard texture. I feel like it looks too much like something that's not meant to be there rather than a thing. So let's go for magic. So these are all procedural textures, so obviously you can alter them as much as you like. And depth. And just get it to something that looks alright. So if you can shift click on stuff to check what it looks like. So with the magic texture, you don't want it to be too big. You want it to be fairly small. And then again, you probably want a color ramp. Let's go for some sort of greenish colors in this. It won't be massively apparent, but we can swap it from multiply over to add, and we'll get, wow, a load. Soft light it. You could even go for overlay, color dodge. I'm just sort of trying to find, oh, not that one. Darken, mix. Oh, mix doesn't work, isn't too bad, but we would want to mess with the factor because it's a bit too strong. So if we pull that down, we want it pretty low. We don't want it off, but we just want it to be there, but not too strong. There we go. And these work brilliantly as sort of backgrounds that you can then put additional stuff on top of once you've got your render in. But there's nothing stopping you from actually putting your render directly in here already if you wanted to. It's also very easy to render out. because we've got everything already set up. And I'd put that one up, and then I'd go over to here, hit denoising data, and then we should just be able to render it. And it should come out if I was on GPU. It wouldn't take as long. GPU compute, hit render, and it should be fairly quick, just going through, getting our render, and it should be practically completely noise free. Yeah, and you can render it at higher resolution if you wanted to, but 1920 is good enough for the tutorial. I do also believe that most of you actually put your end products at a lower resolution than this, which means this is a perfect resolution for you as well. But you guys know what you want in your thing, and this way would actually give you way more control over it. Because as I showed you, you do have full control. You're able to change all the variables, you're able to change everything to be however you like it. And this level of control will allow you to make sure that yours were completely different than everyone else's, so that no one else will have seen it. And you'll have that amazing moment where someone will ask in one of the help channels, where'd you get your overlays? And you'll be able to tell them that you make them from scratch. And that will make you look good. But depending on what you're after, will depend on what kind of overlay you'll make. But no matter what it is, you can make it. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this is useful for you and you managed to make use of it and you managed to grow as an independent artist. Good luck, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.